You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast. With Brian, Craig, and Jeff give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome in to the Outspoken Network here. It's the Sportscast. Guys, your hosts Brian, Craig, and Jeff are jumping on to talk about the weekly headlines. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Howdy, boys.
Doing good, doing good. All right, guys. Well, we got a couple things we're going to talk about here. It is football season. We're going to be talking mainly football today. We got the new NFL kickoff rules. We're going to talk about a little bit of the strength of schedule and a little bit of other things as well. We had a football preseason game this week. Did anybody watch that?
No, I don't normally watch that one.
No, we didn't watch it.
You're talking about the Hall of Fame game?
The Hall of Fame game. I only watched the kickoff because I wanted to see what the new kickoff rule was going to be, the new kickoff, and what it looked like. And I don't know about you guys. I like it. I like it. I like the new kickoff rules. So basically, to break it down a little bit, there's the kicker is kicking back the regular spot, and then the teams are lined up. I think on the 30, between the 30 and the 40, they're 5 yards apart from each, or 5 or 10 yards apart from each other. And there's what they call the landing zone, and the landing zone is between the 20 and the end zone. And you usually have 2 kick returners, and kicker kicks the ball, and no one can move until the ball is either caught or hits the ground in the landing zone. So it sounds a little complicated, but it's not all complicated once you see it happen. And I think that's why I have some people tune in just to the Hall of Fame game to see what it looked like. The interesting part is if the kicker kicks the ball all the way into the end zone as a touchback, they place it at the 30-yard line. If they kick the ball and it lands in the landing zone between the 20 and 10 and then goes in the end zone, the ball is then placed at the 20. So the kickers are penalized. The teams are penalized for just booting it out of the end zone, and they get 10 more yards, which I like that. It's going to give you more kick returns. The kickers are going to be strategically trying to place the ball in that landing zone because when it hits in between the 20 and the end zone, anybody can move at that point. So I think it's going to bring some more interest to the kick returns. What do you guys think?
I mean, I totally agree. I like it. I think it makes kick returns a lot more interesting. They usually are kind of that. I mean, the way the rules were set up before, it would pretty much go in the end zone every time. Kind of boring. Unless, it was a punt or something like that, then maybe you'd have a chance. But for the most part, nobody really did anything to run anything back. So this kind of forces that a bit, I think. And there'll be some interesting plays, I guess, you know, someone running and passing the ball, but or kind of lateraling the ball or something, weird. But I think it'll make it a little more exciting versus a kind of a snooze fest when you see kick returns.
Yeah, I definitely like it. It brings the kickoff back into the game. They basically eliminated it a couple years ago when they moved everybody up, and I mean, I understand the whole concussion fear of guys running 90 miles an hour down the field and hitting people. But that they eliminate that by not allowing you to get a head start until the guys catch the ball. I think it absolutely brings the kickoff back into the game, and you're going to see teams put different guys than they would back there before. You're going to see a whole plan of different guys returning now to try to get better field position. So, and then the to be able to kick it in the end zone, penalizing you, that prevents almost all the touchbacks and everything. So yeah, I mean, I like it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna take time for some fans to get used to, but I think once the season gets going, the people are gonna like this a lot better. And I think the NFL did it more for safety, right? The full down, running down, full on collisions. But last year was the lowest return rate in the NFL at 22%. The year before it was 36%. Last year dropped to 22%. And they said, we got to do something to change this up. And I think this is going to take care of both the safety issues and it's going to take care of the entertainment issue on on that end as well. Instead of running full speed and concussions and all that good stuff. So I
Well,
like it. I think
is this something that, I mean, I don't know if people were paying any attention to XFL stuff or UFL, whichever the other one was called.
the
But weren't
USFL,
they?
whatever.
Yeah, weren't they doing the same? Weren't they doing that exact
Yeah.
deal?
And this is where they got it from. This is where the NFL got it from. So those fans that watch the other, what we call, I guess, AAA football, um, are probably used to it by now. But that's where they got it from, the idea from. And I think it's cool because a lot of times the NFL doesn't like to admit that they got something from somebody else. You know what I mean? So they're very stubborn headed. But I like it, and I think fans need to give it a chance. I've seen some negative talk about it already, but it's just one game, and I think once the NFL season gets going, you're going to see you're going to see the creativity. You might see a catch with a jet sweep. They might try and fake you out, or you're going to have a lot more returns and stuff like that. I think it's going to be something that's good for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know why people are getting upset about it. I think that most of those people maybe are in the minority there because I think from hearing other fans talk about it on various other podcasts or YouTube channels or something like that, they typically have no issue with that. It's the other rule that they have a problem with.
Yeah, yeah. Well, talk about another rule change. You talking about the tackle, the
Yes.
yeah, that what is that? The fall down, what is that?
It's like
I
a
don't know
hip
what they
tackle
call it.
or
Yeah, the
what?
drop hip tackle. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, that's something I think I forgot about because that came out so early in the off season. But that is another rule change. I think that's going to be the opposite effect. I think that's going to be a negative effect as far as fans getting angry and upset on these dumb penalties. And you can only control so much safety in the NFL before you ruin the game, before you make penalties, and it's already heavily favored the offense side of the football. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not looking
It's
forward
just
to
a
that.
judgment it brings
Yeah.
the judgment back into it, kind of like the where they were landing square on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Sometimes you would see it and you would be like, that's clearly he landed straight on him, and they wouldn't call it. But then it seemed like if the game was on the line or something to that effect, they fall to the side and they call the landing directly on him. I mean, it's something those guys going at 100 miles an hour necessarily can't control.
Right.
And I think that hip tackle is the same thing. You're just trying to get the guy to the ground. You're not intentionally trying to hurt anyone. You're not trying to illegally tackle anybody. You're just going 100 miles an hour and trying to get the guy, and you're not focused on, oh, I better go in at a different angle, or I better hit him at a different spot, or and so I think it hurts the defense tremendously. And again, when you add judgment of referees in, everybody's judgment's different, and everybody sees it different. So, if it affects the first game, it affects in a clutch moment. You get a key stop or something like that, and then all of a sudden, oh, here's 15 yards and a new set of downs, and then you lose the football game. I think that's where it comes into play.
Yeah, when you leave judgment to referees, it's a big question mark, and the NFL tried to make it right when they said that coaches could challenge pass interference calls, and then not one pass interference was
overturned
because the refs' ego was too big. I mean, you can't tell me not one of those the whole season wasn't that they were all correct. And if the refs would just say, I made a judgment call, it was wrong, I got it wrong, no big deal. But apparently they have too much of an ego, and
well, that's why I like
that went
baseball,
right
that
out
it
the
goes to
yeah.
like a central viewing, not the refs that are actually in the game. It goes to two separate officials that are in a separate
Yeah.
facility, so that it's not the own guy going, oh well, no, I made the right call, I'm not gonna
Because I
I'm
think
not gonna change it.
I think one that they need to go back to is challenging either pass interferences, because that play right there can change the whole game. It could give you
Yeah,
complete
especially in
downfield.
the NFL, because it's a spot foul.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then also roughing the passers. Some of those roughing the passer calls are just like, what? That doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't look like it was roughing the passer to me, but at the end of the day, they call it, and it's a big freaking boost for the offense. But so give the new kickoff rule a chance. I think it's to be really good. Strength of schedule. Have you guys looked at the strength of schedule this season?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't looked at it either.
Well, the New Orleans Saints have the easiest strength of schedule. Atlanta Falcons.
It helps
Carolina
when you're in
Panthers.
that division. Yeah, it helps when you're in that division and play 3 other teams that are terrible at football.
Chicago Bears have the 29th easiest. The Cowboys have the 12th easiest schedule. So you're almost midway. San Francisco's right behind you. New York Jets at 14 with Aaron Rodgers if he can stay healthy.
Which is a question mark, because the other Achilles tendon appeared to have acted up the other day in practice. They say it's not a big deal, but
if I'm the Jets fans, I'm holding my breath.
Yeah,
because
there's also some drama with him and another receiver. I don't know what's going on.
There's a lot of drama. All you hear about from Aaron Rodgers is drama. Yeah. I told the wife the other day, I go, here's a guy who hadn't played 4 snaps all year last year, refused to go to the mandatory camp because he was in Egypt, and then he comes back and he's like, I'm not going to play in any preseason, and then you wonder why you can't get on the same page as your wide receivers. It just doesn't make any sense, but that's a whole nother story. Cleveland Browns have the hardest schedule in the league this coming season. Baltimore number 2, Pittsburgh Steelers number 3, and unfortunately the Green Bay Packers are tied with the Texans at number 4. I looked at our schedule this year. It's not going to be very easy. The Giants are number 6. Whew. Buffalo Bills at 7, and then Detroit at 11.
See,
So
that's crazy how the Giants somehow get 6 when they were that bad. Like,
that bad,
because
yeah.
normally when you do the matchups, it's off your record. So how you would go from being a team that only won 5 or 6 games to having the 6th toughest schedule is
It's
crazy.
crazy. Kansas City's right there in the middle at 16, Cincinnati at 17. So that helps out Burrow coming back off injury to have somewhat of a easier schedule. And I don't know how much y'all read into this. I mean, it's something that's interesting because the NFL changes year to year, right? So it's not 100%, but these are going off of winning percentages against the teams that from last season, if they're going to be about the same this year. So, and these could drastically change, but I like to see where my team is on there to see kind of what my expectations should be. And yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I look at our schedule and I'm like any other fan, and I go, okay, that's a W, that's an L, that's a W. I go down and try and mark off the ones that I know are going to be wins and losses, and you end up wrong at the end of the day most of the time, just because the NFL's so up and down.
Well, I think it's kind of watered down because the teams that are putting Cincinnati against them, they're going off last year's winning percentage, and they didn't have their quarterback or
Yeah.
thing for half the season. So now you're facing an entire different team when you play Cincinnati than the one you played last year. So I mean, I think it gives you a something to go off of, but I don't know how accurate it is.
Jeff, how much do you take off the strength schedule?
I used to kind of like poke around and try to like figure it out, but I haven't done that in the last probably 3 seasons. So I just kind of look at the schedule, and I mean, there's a few times where I'm like, okay, we should win that game, against this team. But there's always some surprising games where you're just like, okay, we should have easily won that one, but find ways to lose it.
Sunday.
Right, kind of deal. Yeah, I mean, it's tougher. I don't know. It's fun to do, but I also am kind of like, like Brian said, it's like I'm most likely going to be wrong about some of these. So
yeah, and I think that's a lot of fans. You go in there, oh, we're gonna win. We're gonna go 13-4, and then you're gonna lose against a team, and you're gonna beat a team that you thought you'd lose to, and you're gonna lose against a bad team, and that happens. But that's the greatness of the NFL is any given Sunday.
I mean, I think last year was the only time where I predicted we would split with the Chiefs because we kept playing them close each and every year for the last 4 years, and it got closer each time. So I was like, I'm sure we'll split here in the next few years.
Yeah, and you've got to have if you want to get it pretty accurate, you got to have a really good mirror. You've got to be able to say, okay, like the Cowboys are going to split with the Eagles most of the time, but the Packers are going to split with the Lions most of the time, and maybe even the Bears, except the Bears have been pretty bad, so we've been dominating them pretty lately. But so we'll see. Have y'all heard of the NFL Hawkeye?
No.
Well, this is something that's been a long time coming. They're actually going to test it next year during preseason. It is basically like
is this that deal? Yeah, is this that thing? Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
And they're gonna put a chip in the ball and be able to show exactly where it's at on the field. So they say this is probably the last year with the chain gang. There's not going to be any chain gang next year because you're not going to need it with this system. If you guys ever seen tennis, they can show exactly where the ball is on the court, where it lands, if it's in the shadow of the ball, if it's out, exactly down to the details. So this is going to be great for us. The only thing that's not is apparently it's still going to be the judgment of the NFL refs of where to place the ball on the field. Like, where they saw the knee go down of the ball, it's still gonna be a judgment call on spotting the ball and where they spot it, and then you're gonna be able to see, okay, from from where they spotted it and the first down yardage is how close they are, if it's an actual first down or not, using the spot of the Hawkeye. But does that make sense? Like they're not going to spot the ball. They're not going to look at the system at their each tackle and say, "Oh, this is exactly where the ball goes." The ref's still going to do that, and then they're going to be able to look at the Hawkeye and go, "How far is he from the first down yard? Is it a first down? Is it not?" So they're not going to call timeout, bring out the change, pull out the index card, none of that crap. So I'm like, that's a little weird to still leave it to the ref to spot the ball exactly where it needs to go, but I think it's better than the bringing the chains out and trying to measure, and you have the index card come out and you're going, why does this guy have measuring with an index card? So it should be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
So-
as I said, the tennis and the soccer, they use these where you can tell where the ball hit and everything like that. I mean, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It just cracks me up where it's like we're using this technology and then we're just grabbing index cards too. It's
Yeah.
like, let's just go back to.
He pulls out the index card. I'm like, what is that measuring, dude? That's
It's an advanced index card, Brian. Okay, it's got
Yes,
some
it's
chip in it.
got some chip in it. So I'm interested to see it. I think any technology that's going to help make the game better, get the call right, is where the NFL needs to go.
I mean, I wonder if
ultimately.
they're gonna are we gonna see the kinks ironed out, or are they gonna be like kind of doing this on the fly, like, like this didn't look good.
I don't think they'll put that out there if the kinks aren't worked out in the regular season. So I mean,
That's
they're gonna
why they use it in the preseason and see how it goes.
Yeah, they're gonna do a lot of testing on it probably, and then go from there. It's called the Hawkeye, so it's pretty interesting.
That's why I like with baseball. I like when they test all this stuff out years in advance. You're just like,
yeah. They have 3 different other, single A,
Right.
double A, triple A. They can
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
with NFL, it's like, well, we can test it in the preseason in 4 games or 3 games and go from there. They're already talking about adding an 18th game. Y'all hear about you hear them talking about that and cancel another preseason game and add an 18th game, which is crazy. But
I mean, some of those
it's more
preseason games are
football.
kind of important. I know that people don't like to watch the preseason game, but some of those are important for other players. Like I don't know. I mean,
it helps them get tape out to other teams, the guys that get cut.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's like, I hope we don't get to a point where it's like, it's just like one preseason game now. Like, okay, good luck.
Yeah, it's something. Well, it's more important for the coaches to figure out who's on their team. I mean, that's pretty much what your preseason is, to get your roster set for the regular season. Who's going to make it? Who's not going to make it? Who you need to put on the practice squad. So it's more for them. All preseason means to me is football's close. So, I got excited when I was like Hall of Fame games on. That means football's close. That's all it means for me. I don't really watch. I mean, I try to watch when Jordan Love was playing in it, see what he kind of looked like.
Sure.
But if I don't got a superstar like that I know is maybe not starting or going to play much in preseason, I'm not tuning in. So I'll be interested to see if how much the Broncos play their quarterback. What's his face? You just drafted him.
Bo Nix.
Yeah, Bo Nix. If he's going to play preseason, which he probably will, I think he's your starting quarterback.
Peyton already came out and said that the starters are playing preseason.
Nice.
And the other thing too is, I mean, we were talking about Rodgers earlier, not wanting to come to practice, and probably didn't want to play preseason. I'm sure of it. And I mean, how much does I know when it comes to baseball, conditioning is key. Like, there's a reason you have spring training. There's a reason that people are, you got to go out there. You got to play those games, because if you get it, you'll get injured. I mean, all of a sudden, you go out and do practice for a little bit and don't play any preseason, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into a game, and it's like all of a sudden the dude injures himself, and it's like, oh well, that kind of makes sense, I guess, right?
Well, especially
Yeah.
in football. I mean, how much they hit each other and how fast these guys are and how strong these guys are. The football is definitely, you don't want to shorten it any more than 2 or 3 games.
Well, and it's weird too without or it's weird because what's his face? Robert Saleh for the Jets came out and said that Aaron Rodgers won't be playing preseason. And
Kind
then
of a
Rodgers
new thing now, though.
Well, Rodgers came out and said I didn't tell him I wouldn't play preseason. So I don't know where he's saying that. So I'm like,
That's not surprising at all, is it?
There's some
a communication problem with Aaron Rodgers between
there's
him and
some
that
weird
coach. That
things
never
going
happened.
on. There's some weird things going on with the Jets already.
I mean, I don't know. I know it's not an Aaron Rodgers rant or topic really, but it's like, I'm just kind of done with this. I'm like, dude, just get out of the league. Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't really think he's going to do anything this year. But,
We'll see. I still want to see him have a full season, not injured. I hate the way he went down last year, although it was kind of funny for the Packer fans a little bit because of how arrogant this guy seems to be. But we'll see. Like I said, I predicted him to win their division with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see what happens. I just think it's weird already that they're having issues. Not weird, but it's just funny that there's this miscommunication already going on over there. All right, we have some big time injuries already. The biggest one's probably Justin Herbert. As you know, he missed time last year. He has plantar fasciitis or fascia. They expect him to play week 1. So they're not expecting him to miss any regular season time, but plantar fascia is not something that you just rest and you're good to go. From what I've researched and heard people talk about having this injury, it's something that is very painful and it's something that is lingering. It's not something that goes away quickly and easily. So he might be playing week 1, but how healthy is he? How much is he going to be able to move in the pocket? How much is it going to affect him?
Is it?
Yeah, and what is it? His planting foot? I'm not sure exactly. I can look that up. I'm not sure if it's that planting foot, because if it's that planting foot, it makes it a lot
That's
more
going to make it a
difficult
lot
way more difficult
than anything else.
They say that when you have that injury, it's better if you tear it completely than to have it linger like that. It hurts more. I mean, when it tears, it's extremely painful. But they said it heals faster and is less painful once you tear it than if you just have whatever that ligaments are stretched or whatever the actual injury is, that part of your foot being hurt. They say it's actually better if you fully tear that. I've heard.
Is that it's kind of like a sprain, right? Some kind of like muscle
it's kind of like the
sprain
ligaments in the bottom of your foot are like stretched, and so every time your foot lands, it hurts, and every time you put pressure on your foot, it hurts. And they make inserts for it and everything like that, but it's basically those tendons in the bottom of your foot are just completely stretched out, and
it's his walk. It's his right foot. It's the planting foot.
That's no good.
Jeez.
That's no bueno.
That's not good.
Why don't I mean, would it be crazy to think to just sit him for a period of time? Like, I mean,
I'd sit him now.
Sit him now
and because he's going to have the shots on the bottom of his foot, and I mean, there's treatments for it, but I mean, you see running backs like that miss all kinds of time with that.
I mean, with their new coach and everything, you would assume. I mean, I'm sure they could survive 3 games without him, regular season games, I should say, 3 or 4 at least.
I don't know who the back.
I don't know how long.
Who's even the back?
I have no idea who the backup is.
Well, we saw the backup last year, and he's just not. He's just not.
Well, obviously he's not going to be him, but I mean, if it's something they can at least get a few wins out of, I think that would be a lot better than risking full injury, full year, or whatever. Like
Chase Daniel and Tyrod Taylor.
mm,
That's not terrible.
Tyrod Taylor.
that's not too bad. But
let's look at their schedule this year. Let's look at their schedule. See who they're playing.
I don't know if that's accurate.
I'm gonna guess they're playing Denver twice.
Because they're saying
At least-
Easton Stick is that making it.
Well, they're starting off with the
Easton.
Raiders.
It's Easton Stick. It's not. I don't know where.
They got the Raiders, the Panthers, and the Steelers out of the gate. So those are two of those games are winnable without your
No matter
quarterback.
who's quarterbacking, yeah.
The Steelers' defense might be something hard for you to win. Tyrod Taylor is a decent backup if that's Tyrod Taylor's guy.
Not
Then
accurate. I don't think. I think it's that Easton Stick kid.
week 4, I don't even never heard of Easton Stick. Week 4 is the Chiefs. That's the first game
It
they
says
play.
Jim Harbaugh is counting on quarterback Easton Stick in the absence of injured Justin Herbert. That was 2 days ago. So Easton Stick is your backup.
Okay, I mean, and I honestly I think that makes sense. I mean, I would even have him out until that Chief game. Maybe even have him come back that game.
Yeah, I just don't know if they go that route. I just don't know if they do it.
And it may even be like a wait and see kind of deal. I mean, yeah, they're not going to have him probably playing in the preseason game, so maybe they think that's enough time.
I don't think he was playing. I don't think he's playing preseason regardless. But
right,
he's in a walking boot right now, and that being in the right foot, it's a big difference instead of just the left, where you're not planning on it and pushing off to get power into the ball. So not a good start there for Harbaugh and their season. It looks like, but we'll see. Maybe he goes through it and has no big deal. But just those lingering issues like that is something you worry about with your quarterback. The other injury I saw, Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins out 4 to 6 weeks. He tweaked his knee, missed some time in Tennessee. Now I think Hopkins has come kind of DeAndre Hopkins is kind of no one really talks about much anymore because he's Tennessee and a team that's not that good. He's getting older, maybe lost a little step, but he used to be one of the best wide receivers in the league. So it's a big blow for their offense. Big weapon missing for Will Levis. So I don't know if
any deep threat,
Yeah, I don't know if y'all are picking him in your fantasy league or not, but definitely don't take him now. But
yeah,
I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't know how many years he's got left of great football, and it's crazy to me because I was watching the wide receiver show on Netflix, and it covers 5 wide receivers: Justin Jefferson, Adams, Amon St. Brown, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle. And it's a really good watch if you want to go watch it. But I think it's so funny because Adams on the show, Devontae Adams, comes off as he's just complaining all the season, the whole episode. And he's talking about how he didn't have much time left to host a trophy. I'm going, well, why'd you go to the Raiders then?
Money.
Why you go to the Raiders then? You want to go play with Derek Carr? Well, Derek Carr's not that good, bro. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, he's not there now, so I mean, there you go.
He's not there anymore. But yeah, I don't know if he just comes off as a big complainer, and I'm like, why? Like, why do these? I mean, I guess maybe for the money. I don't know. Like, why did DeAndre Hopkins go to Tennessee? He's not
I could make a joke and say he learned from the best, Brian.
He did learn from the best, but maybe he thought Aaron Rodgers was going there, but he should have figured that out before he went. I don't know. I'm just like, well, then he talks about he didn't have much time. This blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, then don't go to the Raiders. They haven't won nothing in ages. I don't know why you think you're going to go there and they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Like, you're good. Don't get me wrong. You're a good wide receiver. But if you ain't going where the quarterback is, then or you're not going to the Chiefs or a team that's been competitive and going to be a playoff team, like I'm like, I don't know why you went there. It's just laughable. Have you guys watched any of the Olympics? Keeping up with any of that?
I watched some today. I watched the women's 100 semifinals and some water polo.
Katie Ledecky been killing it.
Yeah, the swimming's been. The women's soccer, they're in the semis now. They won 1-0 this morning.
I watched a little water polo today, a little bit.
Yeah.
I've only
I've
watched.
never watched that before. Man, you've got to be exhausted when you're done with that.
Gosh, that's insane.
32
Yeah, I watched
minutes
a
in
little bit of
pool.
it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Go
I
ahead,
watched
Jeff.
a little bit of the Simone Biles, and
Yeah.
and then what else did I watch? I watched some rugby, and which is so awesome. I love that sport.
They say
And
it's the fastest growing sport in America, by the way. So
dude, it's so cool. And then some shooting. I watched some of the shooting today as well.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because cold blooded you see the Turkish shooter Yusuf? Did you see that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, I saw that.
This guy, I'm gonna pull it up right here. This guy's cold blooded. Okay. This guy's cold blooded.
Is this the guy wearing just regular
This-
glasses?
Yeah.
Just regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just went out
This
there.
This dude was insane.
He's
And there
got
were
his
times where
hand
he
in
was
his
off a
pocket.
bit.
He's got his hand in his pocket. He pulls up like he's, whatever. All right, I'm gonna do my job. And he won silver. And why this is so crazy? Because you're like, oh well, he looks normal. Everybody else has goggles on, ear protection. They have
fancy like sightseeing, ultra
sightseeing
blocking
glasses, no glare glasses on top of those.
Yeah.
And this guy just walks up in his prescription Oakleys over here or
And
whatever
he's
he's wearing.
Got it.
And he's like, silver medal.
And some of those people have I think they have the crosshair like deal on there. One of their
Yeah.
I've
That's
seen
what
that
I'm saying. They have
Yeah.
red optical, like two different color, red and blue, deals and optics and everything like that. Do you see the kid from Burleson won a silver medal in the skeet shooting?
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I saw something today that the men's swimming is in danger of not winning,
not meddling
not medaling at all in 127 years.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
insane.
crazy because they actually were doing pretty well. It seemed like in terms of competition. Because maybe I was missing or I was seeing something different, but there was something I watched where I was like, "Geez."
Well, you just looked at all the years of Michael Phelps where it was just a given that we were going to win all the medals.
Yeah.
And now we don't win any.
And Simone Biles is a must watch. She's an absolute beast. And what's crazy about her is they said all the women that usually win the gymnastics are 20 and under, and she's 27.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's why they said when she had
set that bar.
The yips or whatever last year, whatever happened 4 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That she may never compete again because of her age. What I found was super interesting. What I found was super interesting was the girl that's with her right now was ready to quit and basically said, "I'm done." And Simone Biles said, "Hey, hold on. Why don't you move to Texas and you come train at my gym? And it's a safe haven. Nobody's all these things that we've dealt with in the U.S. gymnastics and
the mental,
we won't have any of that here.
Physical.
And so she comes down to Texas, and they run this gym together now, and they've got all these women that are training in gymnastics now in Texas, And they both are going to win medals, and it's just a crazy
That's
story
great.
on how she just took this girl under her wing and said, "Hey, listen, I know we've dealt with a lot. Why don't you
Yeah.
come down here?" And they've now opened a gym, and there's a ton of women that are in gymnastics and in this safe space, and can just worry about gymnastics and not worry about all the other stuff that they had to deal with.
Have you seen the shade? Have you seen the shade of the Olympic girl talking crap? You see that drama? So
Oh,
it was the girl that was on the team with Simone Biles a while ago,
yeah,
and she came out and said that other than Simone Biles, these girls don't have work ethic like we used to, and they don't have because of they didn't go through the abuse, I guess, of the U.S. gymnastics. So after Simone and then won the gold medal, Simone posted these what she say? She says she called them like a lazy
these
these
non-work
lazy
ethic,
gold medalists
yeah,
and throwing shade at her comments, and then she
yeah.
blocked her. It was pretty funny. She body bagged her on on the internet, but I don't know. Simone Biles is the next Olympics. They should be 31 years old doing
Yeah,
doing that.
probably not.
I this is probably it for her. I hope not, because she's the
Well,
best
she's the most
gymnastics
decorated gymnast. I
I've
mean,
ever
you have
seen. I
nothing to
mean,
really prove.
she stepped out of bounds on her routine and still won gold medal. Like, that's how good she is.
Yeah.
They named 2 moves after her because no one's ever done them, and they're like, yeah, we're naming it. So it's pretty cool.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. I gotta go
get that brisket.
check this
Go
brisket.
check
Yeah.
that
So,
brisket. Send pictures to me. I want to see what it looks like.
all right, I will.
All right,
All
brother.
right,
Peace
take
out.
care.
All right, Jeff.
All right, Craig. The Jaguars waived the tight end Peterson. It's the Peterson's the coach, so he waived his son today. That's got to be awkward. Sit down.
It does, but I mean, you have to know that going in, does he have it? Does he not have it? He probably knew coming in. Hey, listen, I'll let you out here, but we both know that you're not going to make the team, type deal.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Oh, that would
Thanksgiving
be
dinner.
a crazy conversation. Look, you
like,
have to know this is coming. You're not real good. I mean, yeah, that would be an awkward.
all right. Well, that's the headlines of the week. All I got for this episode. Craig, you got anything else that you want to talk about? Add into it.
Other than Blake Snell's no hitter last night,
Was it last night?
was yeah,
Nice.
114. But this kid, ever since the All-Star break, ever since just before the All-Star break, his last 5 starts have been impeccable. Well, he had the other day, he goes 6 innings, lets up no runs, strikes out 15, and then the bullpen goes and lets up a homer, and the Giants still win in the bottom of the 9th, but I mean, Snell doesn't get any kind of victory, anything. So he's like, you know what? I'll do it myself. First time in his whole career that he's ever pitched in the 9th inning. Good time to do it. But what I find is interesting is basically he went out in the 9th inning and basically he told Melvin, I'm not going over 120, so if I hit 120, come get me. And Melvin's like, what? No. I'm throwing a no-hitter. He's like, I don't care what I'm throwing. If I go to 121, come get me. And Melvin's like,
That's crazy.
Okay. And he goes out there and throws 6 pitches in the 9th inning and gets Ellie De La Cruz on the last, to end it, and throws the last pitch, 114, 98 miles an hour. And then they're celebrating and they dump water on him and they hit him in the head with a cooler. The lid smashes him in the head. He's like, guys, hold the lid or something.
Concussion protocol.
Yeah, he'll probably miss his next 2 starts. But
That's fun.
no, this pitching staff has finally become what I thought it would be. Robbie Ray comes off the from Tommy John, goes 5 innings, no hits. Logan Webb goes 9 innings, no runs, and then backs it up with Snell, 9 innings, no hit, no runs. So they're 4 games back of the wild card. I don't know if they make it. Offensively, they're just not great, but you don't need to be if your guys are out here throwing up zeros. So the schedule for the next 12 games is all teams under 500. So you need to take advantage of the schedule you got in front of you. But we'll see. I hope they keep a lot of these guys. I hope they keep Snell and lock him up long term. They said, I thought it was funny because they said Texas went hard after Snell at the deadline. That would have been interesting to see if they had got him. I think the Giants. I think the Giants just especially now that Scherzer's back on the shelf with arm fatigue.
Yeah.
His career's
he's somebody we move
over.
on next after this
his career's got to be almost over. He's had injury after injury after injury. I mean, when he's good, but he just a lot of arm injuries. Verlander's coming to a close. A lot of these guys,
a lot of these greats are coming.
Yeah, they're coming to an end real soon.
The Rangers, the whole season of August, we're facing teams that don't have a losing record. So, like I said, I thought we should have been sellers at the deadline. We were buyers,
See,
little buyers.
Chris Young went the other way with it and tried to go even more, it sounds like.
I get it. I'm not saying we should have sold the farm. I'm just saying be small sellers, place yourself in a good position for next year.
Well,
if you sell too much, your head coach is walking. He didn't sign up to be sell. He didn't sign up
I'll be honest
to be sellers. But we don't. Like I said before, and I told Ryan and 100 other Ranger fans, we can't hit the broadside of a barn. We couldn't fall out of a boat and hit water.
Yeah,
and I don't know why, but without that all year long, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when we are pitching.
And I'll be honest with you, I've gone to a couple games this year, and the age is really catching up to Bochy. I don't see how he goes much longer. His walk to the mound,
I think one more year,
I
think he's done.
Are like a marathon. I mean, him walking out to the mound. I mean, he's just frail. He has really, really, really gone downhill. I mean, that's why he retired with the hip surgery. He had double hip surgery, and he just looks like he's done.
I think he's one more year and done. But I just.
And it's hard after you win the World Series. Trust me. Every year that the Giants won the World Series, the next year they didn't make the playoffs. It's very difficult when you have the target on your back and you have teams coming in there that want to beat the champs. It's hard to repeat. It's just hard to. I mean, the Giants won 3 in 6 years, and they called it a dynasty.
Yeah. All right, Craig. It's about that time that I asked the question. What's in your locker?
Oh, well, after a very brutal 2.5 or 3 months, the vacation is on the horizon. The 9th through the 16th, I'm going to take some time off. I believe me and my dad are going to go fishing and camping and go out and just kind of have some campfires and some drinks and maybe take a few days and get away from everything. It'll be nice. Much needed break after a very busy couple months. Other than that, getting ready to I think while I'm on vacation, we're going to finish up Zach getting his license, and he can go on his own and start driving and start working or whatever he's wanting to do. And other than that, that's about it. So how about you, Brian?
Awesome, man. Getting your license is something that's really fun.
You'll never forget. Yeah.
Never forget it. Excuse me. We just had some family coming to town this week, so it was nice to see them. They left back today, and they were here since Wednesday, and it's good to see them. I officially start my supervisor job Monday, so I'll be training on that. So I'm excited, looking forward to that opportunity. Other than that, it's just been pretty chill. Getting ready to really take off the podcast here. getting ready for the NFL season, and getting ready for. I've been playing a lot of college football, 25, so that's been fun. I played my buddy Brandon last night and won both games, so there's that. Haven't been doing too much. I have got to find time to do my other podcast episode on the Dad Bod podcast and do that as well. So pretty busy with podcast stuff and finding some good sports things to talk about. And so our episodes will be Saturday nights at 9:00, like we have been doing the sportscast here, and what we have been doing here for the sportscast. But other than that, it's not been too busy on my end. Not too bad. So, I still got to figure out why we're not on YouTube. That's really annoying.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row.
2
Kind
weeks
of
in a
crazy.
We're
Because
on
we get a
Facebook
lot
right
of
now.
a lot of views from there. So
Yeah.
I mean, they can still watch it tomorrow or whatever. I mean, we can get it uploaded, but it's crazy
Yeah.
how it doesn't go live with this new platform.
It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Great. Jeff watched me. I screen shared it. He watched me plug everything I needed to plug in, and we thought we had it. Maybe I need to do it before every show. Maybe the restream key itself changes. I don't know, but it's been a pain in the butt. It's usually not that difficult, but
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's gonna be episode 227. We covered a lot of NFL stuff, the new football kickoff rule and stuff like that. So check it out. We're here on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. live. We have the if you don't like to view our show visually and you're more of a podcast listener, you can find us on all podcast platforms as well. And when football season starts, we will do 2 episodes a week. We'll do one on Tuesday and Saturday as well. So look forward to that. Look forward to more of the sportscast. So God bless, guys, and remember,
Keep it outspoken.